Nathan Oakley and his gang were one of the first group of people I ever tackled on this channel.
All this matches up perfectly.
Yeah.
What he's done is
Could you do us a
essentially
favour?
shrunk down the size of the top image, which is from a couple of feet, and sort of squashed it onto the top, like it's ice cream on top of an ice cream cone.
Nathan, if I had done that, you would see clear distortion in the photo. Just so we're clear, here is the first image direct from LK's video, and here is the overlay that I made. Next to each other, I think it would be fair to say that they are exactly the same, and no stretching or squashing has taken place. And since then, I've had many run-ins with him and his minions. And today, with the help of the yodeler, we're going to take another look at his channel, this time leaving it in the sorry state that it should be in. Hello all and welcome along to another episode of Flat Earth Friday with me, Simon Dan. Thank you very much for joining me. Okay, the best place to start with Nathan is of course his 1990s corporate style video intro. Brilliant. For those of you that don't know who Nathan is, and you should do by now, here is an example of the man's pedigree.
Nathan, question. You ready? How do you convert meters into kilometers?
I don't know. How do you convert meters into kilometers?
What's the correct way?
You tell me.
The correct way is divide meters by 1,000. You didn't do that.
So if you have a meter and I divide that meter by 1,000, you don't think that would give you millimeters?
Meters into kilometers, Nathan.
You just said
That's
you
what I'm
divide
talking about.
meters by 1,000 to get kilometers. So you're saying I divide something that is 1 meter long by 1,000 and that will come out to a kilometer value.
Nathan,
It sounds
let's keep
like
on-
it
let's keep
sounds
on track,
like you
let's
are
keep on
quite
track.
literally retarded
Let's
with that
keep on
statement.
track.
You do not divide
Let's keep
meters
on track.
to come out with kilometers.
Yes, confused about how to convert meters into kilometers is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Nathan. He is almost certainly the flat earther that comes out with the most amount of word salad I've ever seen. He's articulated, there's no doubting that, but he uses that skill to manipulate meanings and conversations to suit his narrative. And the sad thing is, people buy it. One of the things Nathan does at the start of his daily debate shows is work his way through a list of what he calls housekeeping questions as a way to affirm his opinions. He does this with the rest of the panel and they repeat the same old jargon again and again and again and again. So today we're going to join Nathan as he starts one of his daily debate shows and starts to go through the housekeeping questions. We're going to have a pop at answering them one by one. So Nathan, over to you.
Any signs of Earth curvature?
You have a backup experiment. If you're seeing through this hole, through the next hole, and seeing the light at the backboard or at 17 feet off the water, the Earth is flat. If he's holding it up at 23 feet high and we're seeing the light, well, that's because the Earth's curved. So I should only be able to see it when it's at 17 feet. Okay, go ahead and drive down there, Enrique. You're going to hold the light there. Enrique, how high is your light?
17 feet.
I mean, it's as, we don't see you, Enrique. Lift up your light way above your head. Interesting.
What a kick in the teeth. Curvature proven, and by a flat earther no less. Just to rub salt in the wound, here is a picture from Jason of the Disbury family's Twitter and YouTube. It's his cover photo for both. Jason of the Disbury family is the guy who runs the Global Eye European tour. You can see from this photo, if we draw a nice straight line on the horizon, that he has inadvertently proven curvature. Well done, Jason.
Not from Texas.
Nope.
Any signs of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
But what we found is when we turned on that gyroscope, we found that we were picking up a drift, a 15 degree per hour drift. Now, Obviously, we were taken aback by that. Wow, that's kind of a problem, right?
Ooh, 2 housekeeping questions and both of them answered by flat earthers. Not a great start here, is it, Nathan? Perhaps his third question can do a bit better.
No? Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Here is a clip of an old video of mine where I explained how we found the distance to the sun. When Venus is at greatest elongation, we use radar to determine the distance. Greatest elongation is the point whereby Venus is furthest from the sun in our sky. Radar radiates out like so. We do take into account Doppler shifts due to curvature and rotation though, and we adjust the results accordingly because of that. Once we ascertain the distance to Venus, the rest is secondary school trigonometry. If you need some help with that, let me know. The position of Venus will mean it forms a right angle with the sun. And we know that at elongation, there's a difference in the sky between Venus and the sun of around 46 degrees. From here, as I said, it's basic trigonometry to find the hypotenuse of the triangle, which will be our distance to the sun. 3 questions down and Nathan is already on the ropes.
Only apparent.
Apparent? Yeah, that's no good.
They do this every time. They don't actually believe the sun is a physical object.
Not actual distance isn't what I'm asking for.
No, just assumptions.
Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Gravity, what's that?
You don't know what that is? I think that was one of Nathan's minions, the 10th man. You know you get barnacles stuck on the bottom of boats? Well, you know what I mean. He's saying he doesn't know what gravity is. Well, if you listen to many of Nathan's shows, you'll know that the 10th man doesn't really know much.
If they mean a force, no.
What's that?
Over to our worldwide correspondents over on Discord. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Scientific evidence of what?
Gravity. Scientific evidence thereof.
They don't have a clue, do they? The whole lot of them.
No, not scientific. No.
Bummer. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Oh, they've got us now. Someone will pipe up here and mention that the deepest we've ever gone is 8 miles. Bet ya.
Nope. No evidence.
Sounds like a cartoon. No.
They're Acme drill bits.
Ah, okay. Maybe not. They usually do though. Anyway, evidence for a molten iron core. Coming up. When an earthquake happens, there are 3 different types of seismic waves: surface waves, P waves, and S waves. Now, we have studied earthquakes for a very long time, and it just so happens that we figured out how these different seismic waves travel through different mediums. When an earthquake happens, seismic stations all over the world pick up these P waves and S waves. Take a look at this image. Now, for some reason, there are seismic stations that don't pick up any of these waves, and that is because there's a bloody great big core in the way, which has a consistency and density that doesn't allow some of the waves to travel through, or they're deflected. This causes what is known as a seismic shadow. Extremely strong evidence that there is a core at the centre of Earth.
What about the presupposition itself? What about evidence of the R value, Earth radius?
Well, this one is easy. Eratosthenes figured this one out in 200 BC. Bit behind the times here, Nathan. And no, you can't garner the same results from 2 sticks on a flat plane.
Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon for all the fundamentalist religious zealots who believe the sky is a vacuum known as outer space?
As you can see, Nathan has gone balls deep in on the space-denying conspiracy, and even thinks he's debunked physics itself as well. I've addressed this one many times. Here is a clip of me explaining why in an older video. The gravitational pull of the Earth keeps the atmosphere clinging to the planet. This means that the atmosphere has a pressure gradient. Think of the ocean. Just below the surface there is very little pressure. However, as we go down deeper, the pressure increases. At 1 kilometre down, the pressure is just over 76,000 torr. This is because of the huge volume of water above. At 500 metres depth, the pressure is just over 38,000 torr, because there is less water above this point than at 1 kilometre. This is demonstrated well by placing 3 holes down the side of a full water bottle. The slightly greater pressure of the water at the bottom, due to all the water on top of it, pushes the water out of the bottom hole at a greater rate than the other 2. Now it's the same with our atmosphere. The atmosphere is also a fluid, like the sea. Here at sea level, the pressure is greatest because of the huge volumes of atmosphere sitting above us. It's about 760 torr. 1 kilometre up, the pressure is 676 torr, 5 kilometres 433 torr, and so on. The edge of space is considered to be around 100 kilometres up. The pressure there is 1.5 torr. Because there's very little air pressure up there, there's no force pushing the atmosphere into space. At this point, someone on Nathan's Discord challenges him on this question.
I was gonna say, Nathan, there doesn't seem to be any evidence of a container around the Earth.
So what? It's the necessary antecedent.
But no evidence.
No, there is. The gas itself is evidence.
So because our atmosphere contains gas, that is evidence of a container.
Has it been anybody ever observed, seen, touched, filmed, measured the container?
This is a great question. Flat Earthers are continuously asking us for evidence of Earth by way of photos. So why shouldn't we ask them for evidence of this container? Now, if Nathan is insisting that the gas being there is evidence of the fact there's a container, then he must believe that there is a container, even though he can't prove there is one or show us evidence of it. And he calls us the religious zealots.
You seem to have repeated yourself rather than addressing my rebuttal. Do you want me to repeat it, or did you just totally ignore it deliberately?
I didn't ignore it. I was asking for evidence.
Yeah, I gave it you. Did you not hear it?
That's not evidence. You're inferring.
What was it? Do you want to repeat it? Clearly not. I'll repeat it then, and we'll see if you can address it this time. The gas itself is evidence of the antecedent-consequent relationship requiring to be fulfilled. I'll quote a school teacher known as Conspiracy Cats here on YouTube. He's coincidentally on your side of this argument. Quote, without the container, there can be no pressure, end quote.
This quote was taken from a longer clip of Conspiracy Cats explaining to Nathan air pressure in general and not pressure of the Earth's atmosphere. And this is the norm for Nathan's show. Housekeeping questions followed by a massive serving of word salad with a bit of shouting thrown in for entertainment too. I do not believe that Nathan thinks the Earth is flat. In fact, I'm 100% sure he knows it's a globe, but he's only pretending to be a globe denier or flat earther to, I don't know, advance himself some way in the community. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed it today. If you did, a like and subscribe would be thoroughly appreciated. I've been Sciman Dan. Have yourselves a great weekend, and I'll see you all on Sunday for a new Science Top 5. See you then.